record. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Chloé's Vortex. And today I am so excited to bring on a very special guest, Samantha Ruberto. So I'm going to read a little bit about you, and then we're going to start this conversation I'm so excited about. So Samantha Ruberto is a heart-centered master life coach and host of the Hello BeYouTiful Podcast, who specializes in energetic embodiment, having coached thousands of others to create a life of personal freedom and fulfillment. After a spiritual awakening 10 years ago, she walked away from the white picket fence where she once checked all of society's boxes to start from scratch and create a life that was in alignment with her soul. This pursuit led her on a journey to traveling to over 80 countries, where she not only learned about our external world, her biggest lesson came through understanding the world within. Fascinated between a combination of science and spirituality, and motivated by a deep curiosity, she believes that life is always working out for us, even when we think it isn't. And she aspires to live an experience-rich life and is committed to helping others wake up to themselves and listen to the whispers of their hearts too. Today, through a one-on-one work that she calls soul surgery, and a variety of other group coaching programs, she serves as a holistic guide to help others navigate and deeply understand their inner worlds and essentially heal. I'll have all the links below, you'll see, to find out more, and all of the programs that Samantha offers. But welcome, Samantha. I'm so happy to have you, and I'm so happy to start this discussion.
Thank you, Chloe. I'm super excited to be here. And I love just how we got here. I think that just, you know, just the way that we reconnected and the way that we ended up here, I think it's just a beautiful testament that life works in magical ways.
Life is truly magical. I think, part of what I read in your bio is like the heart-centered, like when you really open your heart and see all the blessings around you, like life really becomes magical. I love how we reconnected. I'm going to just share this story a bit, because we met at Dr. Joe Dispenza's workshop in Cancun in 2019, December, before this whole COVID thing happened and everything. And we connected there, even though there's 3,000 participants, like you can't get. And then we reconnected in Montreal, I should say, at the English way, like last week, was it?
Mm-hmm.
And it was just magical. And you took me on this journey, like this crazy hike and cruising around, and we just reconnected in a beautiful way. And here we are. So the first thing I'm curious about is, I want to ask you what triggered this awakening in you. Like, you're talking about the spiritual awakening 10 years ago that kind of transformed your life. What triggered it, and what was this journey like?
Yeah. So if I was to take you back 10 years, my life looked very different. I was living in my small hometown of Thunder Bay, Ontario, and I was working as a real estate agent. So I was very lucky. At 22 years old, I got into a career that I really loved, and I was quite good at it. So, I had a beautiful home, a long-term relationship, successful career, and I sort of climbed this ladder of perceived success. And when everyone looked at my life and it's like, you should be happy. Yet when I put my head on the pillow at night, there was this little whisper inside of me, and it had me tossing and turning. And it was almost as if I was wearing the wrong life. Like, even though it looked good, even though it was what I was supposed to do, something felt like it didn't necessarily fit. And I had that feeling for probably a couple of years. It just got deeper and deeper and deeper. But on the outside, you wouldn't know. Yet inside, I was silently suffering. And then one day, out of the blue, as I was driving, sometimes when you're driving, you kind of go into this automatic state.
Yeah.
You're sort of zoned out.
Yeah.
And out of the blue, I heard this voice. And it said to me, it was like a punch in my stomach. It said, life isn't fun. And your life, it's supposed to be fun.
Wow.
You're 27 years old. Is this really how you want to live the rest of your life? And for me, it was a clairaudient experience. I didn't know what it was, which is a voice. I was like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and I think some people can relate because it's those moments where you feel something, you see something, you hear something, and it hits so deep that you can't ignore it anymore.
Yeah.
I knew, I'm like, I have to make a change, but I had no idea the change I needed to make because I'm from this small Canadian city and I know everything I know in my world, but I also knew that there was a world outside. And I'm like, I want to go experience that. So what my awakening looked like, it looked like, going through that breakup, taking a sabbatical. I was a workaholic at the time, somebody who was always like work, 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 taking a break from work, and then saying, I'm curious, I want adventure. I booked a one-way solo ticket to Thailand with no plan,
Uh-huh.
not a hotel book, no one there, just show up and life show me adventure. That was my only prayer, was just show me adventure, show me the way. And that first trip was so terrifying, Chloe. Like I literally was shaking on the plane viscerally. My body was like in so
Yeah.
much fear, but on the other side of it, everything blossomed. That first trip to Thailand led to going to Cambodia, Indonesia, and Hong Kong, where time after time, experience after experience, I did so many incredible things that were way beyond what I ever dreamed I'd be doing. And then that first trip led to the next and the next and the next. And then, I ended up traveling over a period of 5 years to over 80 countries.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the fact that you actually listen to it, because so many are just, they might hear those voices, or they might think they hear those voices, but never follow through and stay. Because in a way, it's, now your life just unfolds, and you created this beautiful life for yourself. But I think it's important for people to actually take the time and listen within. Like you said, you were driving, and I know that we all do that when we're driving. We're kind of not thinking, and things can happen. It happens when you walk in nature. It happens when I paint. I always constantly have voices that tell me, that guide me. So this is amazing. This is truly amazing that you went for it, even though fear was there, even though you were shaking. You actually took the chance, and now look at you.
Feel so lucky to tell you is that I was 27 at the time. And that was the first big leap. And
Yeah.
it's leap after leap after leap. And for the past decade, I've constantly lived on the edge of the unknown. And what happens, and what I'll say to anybody who's kind of at that place where they're at an edge of fear and you're being called, your heart's wanting you to jump, but your mind's pulling you back, saying, no,
Yeah.
it's not right. The more that you leap and the more that you jump, you can flex that muscle, just like you go to the gym, and you will build this resilience. You will be able to just like start living your life in such a loose way where you're way more willing to follow that voice. And the more that you do, I see it time and time again, life can get even more beautiful.
I love
So
that.
mm-hmm.
I love that, because that's another big thing too, is like we constantly, because we're trained to just use our brains for thinking and be reasonable, and don't do this, don't do that. And just listening to your heart is so important. I want to get into like this soul surgery, like what you call soul surgery. How did you, so how do I phrase this question? Like how did you find out, like I understand you find your work, like your calling, your purpose, and that's what you're leading, like your life with purpose in alignment with your soul. How did you get in touch with this part and started helping others and find a way, whether it's like what you call soul surgery or different, like I know you do somatic work, all kinds of therapies to help others. What was that journey like, and how did you find your gift?
Yeah, so soul surgery is the overall experience of the work that I do. And I have a number of different modalities that I can use to help people. So what's interesting with this is that I was in real estate, and that was my background. For 10 years, I was working as a realtor. But for the last 5 years, I was on this personal exploration just for my own curiosity of life and living. And I would invest, I'd invest in travel. If there was ever anything I was curious about, I would put myself in the room. I mean, you and I met at a Dr. Joe experience. Like,
Yeah.
I was always just like, if I was curious, I'd read the book or I follow this, but I was doing this for myself.
Mm-hmm.
The funny thing is, not the funny thing, but what happened is I would go back home, and I began to live my life in this way where there was ease and flow. And yet I could see so clearly where other people's lives were jarring, or where they would be stuck because I was, investing so heavily in myself. And little by little, I just had people notice and, sort of ask, like, how are you doing this? Like, what are you doing? I'm like, yeah, I can help you. I could help you. One of the hardest transitions that I made was actually walking away from real estate, though, because at the time when I was traveling, real estate was my bread and my butter. It was my career. I identified with that. A story I'm going to tell you.
Yes.
So when I was here's the story. So when I'd be at conferences for real estate. And I found this one question constantly triggering. If you're at a conference, you're meeting, and someone would say, hey, I'm Sam. Hey, I'm Chloe. The first question people ask is, what do you do? And I used to find when people ask that question, what do you do? It's so triggering. I'm like, because it felt like, it was almost like it was automatic and they weren't really connected to
And
really.
I think also there's a lot of judgment that comes with that. Like, what do you do? Because like you said, in today's society, like the box, like, yeah, they put you in a box, like, oh, you're a real estate agent. Well, let me put you in this category. Like as if you couldn't be anything else. As if that's what you are and you can't be more than that. So anyway, that's a side note that I always felt triggered with. What do you do? Like, yes, I do this, but I'm so much more than that.
And that's exactly what it was. I found it deeply triggered me, even though my answer was like, I was successful with real estate. I was traveling around the world, I was doing all these things. Like, I found within my body that question, just like underneath the surface, kind of was that. And you're like, so in my process of my curiosity, I journal every single day. And I journaled on that question for, I swear, 3 months straight. Why does this question trigger me? What is it about this question? And so for 3 months, I got the same answers, the same answers, the same answers. And then all of a sudden, one day in my journaling, my morning pages, why does this question bother me? And then it wrote, because real estate doesn't exist. Okay, and stay with me. So real estate doesn't exist. And I had this mind-blowing realization where it's almost as if I was a mechanic and I was to say, like, oh, I'm a mechanic, and I identify the first thing, like, I'm Sam, I'm a mechanic, but a mechanic before the car, it's like, that's not what you do. It's like, but what do you do beneath the role? So I thought about it, like, real estate doesn't exist. What is it that I do beneath real estate? Oh, I help people navigate through life transitions. And so once that clicked, I was able to realize what my gift here on earth was and how I meant to serve people. And real estate, for that time being, for that chapter, was the vehicle.
Yeah.
So when I switched over to coaching, when I had people ask me, to support them in a different way, it was easier for me to let go of that vehicle of real estate, because I knew that I was taking the gift of helping people navigate through transitions to a different car, a different vehicle that felt more in line with my soul.
I love that. Yeah.
So oftentimes people, because a lot of people feel stuck in their career, they feel like they're doing something, they want to make a change. I would get curious about, like, what is it that you do beneath what it is you're really doing? Like, you're an artist, but what do you really do? I would love to ask you, through your art, what does it represent for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing for me. Like, I create art with a deep intention to uplift people, to heal people, to induce joy, or trigger this beautiful emotion, inspire. This is like underneath, this is what I'm doing underneath this, a painting, or if I create music or whatever I create, a design, this is the intention underneath it all. And that's why I'm also very similar to you. I'm very curious, and I started learning all about these healing modalities, energy healing, all this, even Dr. Joe, for my own sake. And then I realized that, through this inner soul searching, I kind of was able to define my role more as an artist. And it took me years too to be able to call myself an artist, because there's so much like stuff that goes along with it, or so much judgment from others. Oh yeah, an artist. Oh yeah, okay, and yeah, and then when I understood deep within who I was and what I was offering, that's when things shifted. And it's a constant, it's not like, oh, you're done one day and I'm an artist and this is what I do, or you're this person, this is what you do, or whatever your role in society is. It never ends there. It's always a constant growth, and hopefully it's just like keep on giving and using your gift to help others because that's all it's about. Because I feel that we're really, I mean, even with Dr. Joe, I felt oneness so many times. I experienced oneness even before all this work. I experienced oneness on stage, and I was feeling everybody's emotion in the audience as if it was me. And that's when I noticed the truth, like we're really just one. So if you're that person that, you know, people can look to as an example, a role model, and they're willing, like, oh, can you help me? And how do you do that? How, because even your posts on social media, they're so inspiring. You're like, you're living life with joy, and you feel it through your, you know, through the screen. And knowing you, I know you're that person. It's true. And I'm sure it will get people curious to, like, how do you do this? How do you live life so purposely, so fully, so joyfully, so, you know, and that's, I mean, yeah, I could go on and on, but yeah.
And I could go, you know, so the way I look at life is that one of my main philosophies is that life is always working out for us, even when we think it isn't. And life is the teacher. Okay, so life is your teacher. So if you're looking at your life and you feel that it's like triggering or things aren't working out, it's because there's something within you that's trying to get your attention, that life's trying to show you, but it's up to you to bring your awareness to what's going on the inside and get curious about, what are the stories that my mind is telling me about the situation? What are the emotions that are coming up related to the situation? What is the actions and the behavior that I'm taking around the situation? How am I like a prisoner to this, you know, in my own, because I'm creating this reality, you know, like, so I really do think that we all hold our own keys to our freedom, but it's up to us to use life for that freedom.
Yes.
When it comes to the deeper desire that we were just talking about before with the real estate and going deeper, the deeper desire, the deeper meaning to everything, you know, when you connect to the deeper meaning, people think, let's say money, for example, people think, I'm going to be so happy if I get $1,000. It's not the money that's going to make you happy. It's like, what is it that you think that money is going to give you? Well, when I have the $1,000, I can, you know, I'll feel more free. I'll feel more alive. I'll feel more, you know, more in flow. I'll feel more of this. So if you can get to the deeper meaning beneath what you think you want, I am telling you, there is so much freedom that lives in that space.
Yes, I love this. I love it so much. I love
So
all the message is beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. And my job, like for me, it's like I love to share. You know, I share, you know, in an empowered way. I like to be provocative too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm somebody that, like, I will poke you, but for your highest good.
Yes.
To help bring things out to be released, cleared, and healed. And I think that, you know, in my willingness to walk my life in this way, like, that is contribution. Because whether it's on social media, whether it's walking down the streets of Montreal, whether it's like wherever I am, I've got my presence, and my presence, just my life, my joy, my love, it's enough.
Yes. Yes. And then, yeah. And actually all the stories you tell, like the path you took, like the leap of faith you took to change your career, to believe in yourself enough, and to know and your gift, and just by being that model for others, it's already tons, you know, it's already so much. And so now, you know, obviously you're taking on people on their own journey and helping them with like the specific little exercise, or I don't know what you call them, little different little modalities of healing, whether it's somatic, like whether it's, you know,
shadow work,
yes,
shadow work, semantic work, somatic work, all of that.
All of that. It's just beautiful. I think people need to hear this message and need to, like, the planet would be such a more beautiful place if everybody did some deep inner work and really found that, because we're all different, and we're all here to bring to have like a fulfilling life. And the thing you said about money is so true, because we're so ingrained about, like, okay, we need money, but why do we need money for? What is it bringing you? because so many people that are, millionaires or billionaires or are not necessarily happy. They, so really the search is within, which I love. And I know we're getting close to the end here. So I want to know if there's any special message. And then I'll put down, right below here, you will find everything about Samantha, all her, the links for your website, the coaching that she offers, everything. But any message that you want to share, that's like for today?
I would just say, you know what? It's never too late. Get curious about the stories that could be holding you back. So for some people, it's, oh, I'm too old. For others, it's, I'm too young. For others, it's, I'm not enough. For others, it's, they don't like me or they're this. Just be aware of the stories in your mind and do the work around, release them, release it, because it is not truth. The only truth is that you are totally worthy to be living a life full of creation, full of abundance, full of opportunity, full of, even like miracles. And the more that you believe that that is your birthright, that you are worthy to be living the life of your dreams, the more I promise you, your dreams will appear. So
I love this. I hope everybody listens and really connect with this deeply, because I do. And I had to breathe through this because this is such an important message. Thank you so very much. I am so blessed. Oh yeah, you want to say something?
One last thing.
Yes,
I can give you
go ahead.
Anybody else a hack to make your dreams come true and to make things, have fun. This lifetime is meant to be fun. So if you're not having fun, even set the intention that, oh, you know what? Today I'm going to have a fun day, and watch how things start to flow.
True. Very true. I love this so much. Thank you so much. I feel like we could have a conversation for another hour.
I know, me too.
Thank you so much. I deeply appreciate you. Thank you for being a guest on the show today. If you like this show, please share, like, subscribe, and I'll be seeing you very soon, I hope. Thank you so much, Samantha. And thank you, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.